Hi there. All right. So it has actually been a little bit since I last did a video for this. I've left off on video number 6, I believe. And yes, I don't just grow a beard overnight. It's been a little bit. So this will be video number 7 in my series here for the TSA CO2 car dragster design for 2022, or this school year, 2021 to 2022. All right. So I believe after looking at where I left off, this is where we should have left off. So we had drawn up something, the yellow rectangles here and the yellow circles here represent the sort of straw or sleeve, sort of like a bushing for the axles to spin in. Um, so that's one option. I actually have another option. I have some of these in now. We bought some of these. I don't know how well you can see it in the camera. I'll try to get a little closer. It's just a black bushing, maybe a little blurry there, but we're going to draw a representation, of this. Actually, the little straw things, these sleeves that we've drawn on here, they work well. But if you want to use these bushings, I think they work well also, and I'll explain why I think they work a little bit better. So let's draw this up. And I actually took the time to kind of measure these out and get some sizes of things. So I've actually sort of pre-drawn some of this. So I'm going to walk you through how to draw this yourself. Okay. So let me zoom in. Okay, sorry, I'll fix some of my other stuff later. All right, so this is it. So I'm representing it in two different views. So a top view would be something like this, and then this would be the side view of this sort of a bushing. And I'm going to select this. So I'm going to show you how to draw this. I'm just fixing it here real quick. Okay. Okay, so here's the sizes and how you're going to draw this. All right, so I'll probably have to check sizes as I go along here. Um, so this is the hole that goes all the way through this thing. So we'll start here with this circle. It's going to be 1.9177. Okay, so C for circle, space bar, and I'll just click here to start this. 1.9. I've already forgotten what I just said. So I probably better give myself some help here. All right. So you do not have to draw that. That is to help me remember what size things are. I'm actually going to switch. I'm on the wrong layer. I want to do this on the hardware layer. All right, now we're going to start this again. C for circle, space bar. I'll click here. D for diameter. And I'll put in this here. So 3.8354. Yeah. All right. And let me check the size of this larger one. Okay, so C for circle. Same center point, click there. D, enter for diameter. This one is 7.9502. I used a measuring caliper um, device thingy to measure these things. Okay, so that's why it's some odd seeming dimensions here. So it's about 8 millimeters really, but 7.9502. All right. And then there's actually another circle here. And um, sorry, C for circle, C and space bar, same center point. And I just realized I don't know how far that is. So D, L, I, here we go. All right, so this sort of medium sized circle is going to be a different size. C for circle, click here, D for diameter. This one is 6.35 millimeters. I'm going to delete these here. I'll leave it there for just a moment if you need those sizes, but I'll go ahead and get rid of that. All right. So this is what you should have drawn. Now I show this as a hidden line because of if I was looking at this shape, and this is the other view, like the top view. So if I was looking at it, I'm standing here and I was looking at this face of it right there, I would not be able to see this back here. Like I can't see through this part and see that, but I can show it graphically that it's back there with hidden lines. And I do not know if I covered this much in other videos. Looks like I have talked about hidden lines a little bit probably. So you should have this loaded in. So I'll select this, and you'll do this too. Select that, and properties panel here on the home tab. This drop down, and I've got the hidden layer there. It just shows it as a dashed line, and I'll hit escape to deselect that. All right, so that is the front or side view, I guess. So we'll do this sort of top view. So I'll need a couple of dimensions again here, so bear with me for a moment. Let me get this and this. Okay, that should be all I need. I just have to be able to read it. Okay, I think I can read it. Some of those 6s look like 8s when I back out too far. All right, so L for line. I'm going to use some of this to draw this next part. Remember, that's orthographic projection. So I'll hover over this quadrant and aim it down, and I'm going to just start it here somewhere. And I know how far over it goes because it's going to be the same as this. I'll hover over that and bring it down and click. And then I'm going to go down, what does that say? 1.6764, I think. Yeah, 1.6764, and enter. And I'll go back this way. I'll hover over this for a moment, then come down and click. And then I'll close this by clicking there, and I'll hit spacebar to end that line command. So we've got this sort of rectangle here, and then we're going to do this next part here. All right, so L, enter, and I'll hover over the quadrant of this sort of middle medium size circle, and then bring it down to here, and click. And I'm going to go down 6.1976, 6.1976. I'll hover over this quadrant of that medium circle and then bring it down, click there, and then back up to here, click there, and I'll hit enter. Enter again to restart the line command. We'll hover over that quadrant and bring it down. I'll click here and then here because this goes all the way through the bushing. This is the hole that goes all the way through that I'm representing. So I'll click there, spacebar, and spacebar, hover over this, click, click, and spacebar to end the command. And then I will select these two, and they will be hidden lines because they are happening inside this part. From the top view, I can't see the hole that goes through, but I can represent it graphically here like that. So you should have something that looks like this. So I'm going to actually delete mine because I don't need 2 of them. All right, so you've got this. Now, if you start trying to move this into place, rotate it, copy it, it gets to be a pain. If you have to like select all the little pieces and parts of every little thing. So we're going to do something, we're going to turn this into a block. This will be really helpful if you do this and you save it and we use it next year. If you do another car, you'll have these blocks already drawn up. So this is actually the first time I'm drawing up, well, it's not the first time. I'm going to save these blocks so I don't have to redraw them myself. All right, so here's how you do that. I'm going to go ahead and pre-select this right here, all of that, and I'll hit escape. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I click, I let go, and I get that selection box. Okay, I think between now and the previous video, I think I was using a different version of AutoCAD. I'm now using the newest one, the 2022 AutoCAD. So, all right, so I'm going to select all of that. And then there's two different commands. I like to use this one, WB. So that's W block, WB for block, and then I'll hit enter. All right, and so it's, I want the source of this block to be objects, okay? If this doesn't all make perfect sense, just hang on. Hopefully it will. Base point, that's important, okay? I'm gonna click here, and that way it'll let me choose where my base point will be. So when I'm picking this, I'm thinking of, if I bring this in, I'm gonna place it somewhere. Where am I gonna want it to sort of, where's the handle need to be? Where do I need to grab this thing so that I can place it where I want it? And right here would probably be the best place. And we'll see this here in a moment. So I'll click that midpoint. All right, objects, select objects. When I pre-selected it, it's already selected. So there's 9 objects lines there selected. So we're going to convert to block. All right, so make sure that is selected. And I'm going to save this. It's going to be its own individual AutoCAD file. And so I'm going to click the little 3-dot button here. I actually have a folder called CAD blocks, and I've got a few, right? I've got a few things saved in here. And then we'll call it, this will be, I'll call it a CO2, turn on my caps lock, CO2 car. I'm going to call it bushing top. This is more of a side view. Something like that. All right, CO2 car bushing side view. Even though it's going to be a top view for us, just thinking in terms of just the bushing, it's more of a side view. So that's probably confusing, but that's okay. All right, I'll click OK once I've done that. And nothing happens. That's great, right? Something did happen. It's just hard to see right now. So if I go to like hover over this, you see how the whole thing starts glowing. I can click it and it's all one thing. It's all one block. It's all grouped together. And then there's this blue grip point. I can actually select that and I can move it. And so I can move it all as one thing. I'll hit escape here. We're going to do that again for this here. So WB. And so source, objects, pick point, I'll click this. And then the center of this will be my insertion point. And then I did not pre-select this time. So I'm going to select it, click this button, and then I'll pick all of this. I'll hit space bar. 3 objects selected, and I'm going to save this. And this one I'm going to call CO2 car bushing. I'll call it top view. And then OK. All right. So now these are sort of individual blocks that I can use. I'm going to hit escape to deselect that. So I'll show you how this works. I'm going to leave these here and come back over here to our car because I was out to the side drawing all this. So let's say we want to show this here on our top view. So I'm going to kind of zoom in. I'll hit I for insert, I, and enter. And my face is kind of in the way. Let me move this. All right, I'm going to put it over here. You can move this around. I think I'll put it on the side. I get closer to the side. There it goes. When it does that, I can let go, and it docks it there on the side. I'm going to close this. All right, sort of docks it there. And I can click this little auto hide button And that makes it go away until I hover over it. All right. So there's tabs here. There's current drawing, recent, favorites, libraries. If I click on current drawing, they should show up. I've got a few others I've done here recently, but let's just do current drawing tab. And I'm going to do this one, the one here for top view. If I click on that just once, you can see I can bring this in just as a whole part. So I can zoom in here. So where would this go? Well, we would drill a hole through the body of this car, and then we'd be able to put this bushing in that hole. Okay, so it would go right here. So the green line represents the car body, right? And it's not perfectly flat on mine. Okay, so it's going to be something like this. The flange of this bushing might sort of press into the side of the car just a little bit. So it's not going to be perfect here. But this does show me that I'm going to need a hole that's bigger than what I had planned for originally. I'm actually going to select these two yellow rectangles, and I'm going to move, and for move, spacebar, and I'll click some point. This one is fine. I'm going to move it up because I'm trying to decide right now, do I want to use this or the bushing? I'm not going to use both. I would use one or the other, the sort of straw, sort of sleeve, or this bushing. And the reason I like these black bushings better myself is it's actually a tighter fit. So this is the actual size of this axle, these lines here. So this bushing, it's pretty tight. The sleeve, if I temporarily show you this here, it's bigger. There's more room for some play in between axle and sleeve. Let me back up. So that's why I kind of like these better. It also means I drill a little bit of a bigger hole all the way through the body of the car. How big? Well, depends on how far across this is. I'm going to use my distance command, DI, enter, click here and here, and it tells me that it's 6.35 millimeters across. Now, I can tell you that this is going to mean you're going to want to use a 1/4 inch drill bit, okay? That will work well for this. So let's draw this. I'll show you this. I'm going to come out here to the side and do this. A rectangle. Let me switch my layers. I'm going to put it on car body layer. All right, we'll draw a rectangle. REC spacebar, and I'll click here just anywhere outside of my car. And it's going to be sort of 1/4 inch drill bit. So the diameter would be 0.25. So I'm going to put 0.25 there, and then I'll hit comma. And for the length, I'm just going to put, right now, I'm just going to put 3. I'm going to change it here in a minute. And it makes something that's really small. I have to zoom in to see it. I drew it in inches because drill bits that I use are normally in inches. So I have this drawn in inches, but I've been working in millimeters. So what do we do about that? Yeah, I could go and ask Google how many millimeters and inches and all that. Or I could just take this that I've drawn in inches, I selected it, SC for scale. I'll hit spacebar and I'll pick a base point, bottom left corner is fine. And then it wants a scale factor. So the scale factor, if you're going from inches to millimeters here, there are 25.4 millimeters in 1 inch, I think. That's the scale factor, 25.4. 25.4. I'll zoom out here. All right, so this should be the proper size. So I'm going to move it. I'll go ahead and pre-select it, M and spacebar. I'll get the center, the midpoint here. Move it from there. And I'm going to put it on the midpoint of where this bushing is. And you can see it lines up. Okay, so that 1/4 inch drill bit is going to work really well for what we're doing. So we'd actually drill a hole all the way through the body of the car. And so here's how we're going to show that. So I've got this rectangle selected, and there's these little blue rectangles right there. If I click on that, I can stretch this back. And I can do the same here. I'll stretch it back to the body of the car. And I want to turn it into a hidden line, and I'll hit escape. So I want to show a hidden line because, again, this is a hole that goes through the car. I can't see it from the top view. I can't see through the wood, but this shows me that this is going to be a hole that goes all the way through. So I need one of these bushings on the other side of the car. So if I select this, MI for mirror, and I can pick this midpoint, aim it to the left, and click and enter. Now I have those bushings on both sides, and you can glue these bushings to the wood of the car so they stay in. Okay, so if it's not real tight, which it won't be, you'd add just a little bit of probably like wood glue or super glue or something like that, and you'd be gluing the outside of this bushing to that inside of the hole there that we drill through. So what would this look like then in this view? All right, so let's do this. I'm going to move. Let me select the yellow and green, the green M and spacebar, and I'll click anywhere right here and just move these down out of the way. We're kind of starting fresh because I'm thinking I want to use these bushings instead of these sleeves we talked about. All right, so let's go ahead and draw the circle for the hole that we're going to drill through the body of the car. So I'm on the car body layer, C for circle, wherever the center of my wheel and axle and all that is, D for diameter, and it's 6.35 if I'm remembering right. Okay, so that would be the size of the hole that I drill all the way through this car. Now I want to add the bushings, so I can hit I and for insert, I and spacebar, and then click here. This is the other view, right? So I'll put it here, all right? And you can see that it's bigger. There's my green circle in there. This is the outside flange of this bushing is bigger. You see it here. It sort of steps out, right? And this actually works in our favor by having this sort of step out, this sort of flange here. It gives the wheel something to ride against, and we're actually going to draw a better wheel than this. All right, so we've got those added, and we've got it added on this view. All right, we're showing the bushing there, and we're showing where the hole would be that we would drill through, and sort of how tightly things would fit here. So if I'm going to check this here, DI for distance from here to here. So the sort of the play or the gap between the axle and the bushing is right there. It's like 1/3 of a millimeter, very, very small. So it should reduce friction a great deal. Our 3D printer is down, so I cannot 3D print wheels or bushings or anything right now. So we're going to plan on using stock wheels that I have. So we'll be drawing that up in the next video. I've got to stop this one. It has gone a little long, I know. So this was video 7, and we will see you in the next one, video 8, I think. All right, see you next time.